welcome to another episode of Modern Block. Thank you for joining me today. So today, SuperBru picks round 2. Round 1 was quite hot, a lot of research being done, taken all into account. But before we get into it, please comment, share, subscribe, like, all those good things down below and get the conversation flowing. Okay, so round 2, a lot of great games, some obvious ones, some really tough ones to calculate. So it's going to be a lot about margin, in my opinion, in this one. This round is all about the margin point, which is last round, to be fair, similarly, but I think even more so. Let's get into it. So we've got the Russia-Samoa game. Russia-Samoa is interesting because they've never played before. That does definitely make it up and down and a question mark on everybody's mind. But the fact of the matter is, Russia just played on Friday, and they're going to play again with the exact same team. I've got a video previewing that. If you can, I'll link it here. But so I'm a little bit concerned about that. Looking at the Japanese game, the Russians definitely had a hard time holding off until about the 60th minute, and I've got a feeling a lot of the points in the first half for Russia was definitely a little bit of nerves from Japan. I don't know if those nerves are going to be showing for Samoa. Usually it's only in the first couple days where nerves affect teams. After that, they start seeing other teams play, they start performing better. So I don't see it being as much of an issue. And thus, I'm going to go for a slightly larger margin here. But Rugby Forecast, the website has given it for 18 to Samoa. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative, a little bit more harsher on Russia. I don't think that they're going to be able to hold even the first half, let alone the 60 like they did against Japan. So I'm going to go for 25. It's tough. The bookies are giving a 13-1 chance for Russia to win. I doubt it. So 1-1 Samoa just makes sense. So 25 seems like a good place. I think that Russia did have some good performances. They have a quality fly-off, and they definitely have a lot of physicality. My issue is, unfortunately, that you're playing against a side that's just as physical as them most likely, but probably faster, much faster. So a lot of the Samoans are professional players in Super Rugby and in Europe, which are going to definitely be attacking that Russian side quite harshly. So I think that's a fair amount. I don't think they're going to be able to do much better than that. Some might say even 30. I've seen some bookie sites go up to 30. I'm going to stick with 25 for now. That's my prediction. Next game, Uruguay-Fiji. This is an interesting one again. I don't know really a lot about the Uruguay side. Rugby, they only ever played once, and it was 68-7 to Fiji. So a bit of a beating in 2018, not too long ago. So yeah, last year I don't know the full full backstory to that game, but yeah, Fiji, I think, also rather quick turnaround. They're not going to play, I think, a start like their full side. They're going to be a couple of trying out some players. I don't think they're going to plan to pump this game. It's just get bonus point and get out like a lot of the other games have been in this World Cup. So I've gone Fiji by 30. I think that's a fair amount. Fiji will get their lead. They'll pump their lead. I don't think they're going to concede as many tries late on as they did against Australia. Australia spread them out quite well. I don't think the Uruguayans are going to be able to do the same thing. Rugby Forecast has gone by 23. I'm going to go a little higher than that, as I think that's slightly too low on the pick, and I've noticed the site is definitely under-picking rather than over-picking in some of the games. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. It's tough. The bookies are hugely in favour of Fiji, so I think 30-1 is a fair figure and makes a lot of sense. It could be more, but yeah, let me know what you guys picked down below. Next, Italy-Canada. This is an interesting one. I think Italy played well here. Canada haven't played yet, and this is what's tough, especially in these first 3 games. Most of the teams one of them haven't played, so it's tough to give a gauge of their World Cup level performances. I think Italy had a strong game, led through some easy tries to Namibia. I don't think Canada is going to be able to exploit it as much, but I think they will still exploit it quite comfortably. But yeah, I think Italy probably is not going to play a top strength side here, as they have also got a rather quick turnaround in the game. They played on Sunday and now playing on Thursday. It's a little bit of a tough one. I don't know. I feel it's a little harsh to play so quickly, but such is the way the schedule works out. Anyway, Italy, I think by 15 is a fair one. They're going to try and get their win, maybe a bonus, and then stop and slow down and take their foot off the pedal. Definitely a lot of subs, as the players will be a little bit tired. Canada, on the other hand, are going to try and make a mark, so I think 15 is a good thing, as they want to try and get their points on the board and see what they can do. Either they're going to get the jitters, or the freshness of the game of the team will be able to help a lot. So we'll see there. But that's my pick 15. Rugby forecast has gone by 17. So yeah, around that range I think is a fair pick. England USA, interesting game. I didn't love the performance from England the other day, and I was quite vocal about it in the review. But it's important to see that I think that they just wanted the win, and they got the bonus, and they went off. So I didn't really think it was the end of the world. Conditions, I think, affected their play a little bit. But still a dominant performance. Rugby forecast has gone by 31%, and the bookies are 20-1 on this. That's the biggest margin of any of the games. So a lot of people are feeling it's going to be a high winning one. But their performance wasn't as convincing as I'd like it to be. I think they're going to get as many points as they want to, but Jones seems to be of the point of get the points and go. It doesn't matter what the situation is otherwise. So I would pick that they're going to probably play better than Tonga. I think they have a lot of more professional athletes. They have a lot more in the USA side than the Tongans do technically. And I think they have a lot of skilled athletes in that side. Some of them converted, but the fact Major League Rugby is growing there, and I think their squad is stronger than we suspect, especially if you look at their 7th squad. Saying that, I don't think it's going to be like a close game. I think I'm going to go more conservatively at about 22 points. I think that's a much safer bet. 31 points seems harsh. So I'm going to go 22 points, as I think that the USA will definitely try and deliver this. Their first game, they're fresh. England will probably pick a lot of their second stringers just to keep the kind of like put their front line on the bench in case they need them. But it's not essential to, it's essential to obviously win, but it's not essential to get a bonus point if you look at it, as long as they keep on winning. So I think that's the kind of like math they're going to be going into this game with. So yeah, England by 22 I think is fair. 20-22 around there. I think that's a good range to go for. The Argentina-Tonga game. Argentina had a strong game against France. A hard-fought game. A battle. And I think they're going to... that was a really beautiful game, and they showed a lot. Their scrums were quality. They really had... unlucky to win that in a lot of ways. But yes, Tonga that they had a strong performance against England. I don't think it was a strong performance in the sense that they were dominant. They were strong against them. They had some good runs, some interesting plays, and some hard runners. On the other side of the map, Argentina have a lot of fluid game, and they showed it again. They had some lapses in defence which hurt them quite badly against the French game, and something they need to look at. Like, they seem to almost lose concentration in a couple of minutes, something which South Africa's guilty of also, and I think it's got to do with the way the two teams play. But yeah, I think this is probably a safe one. I'm going to go with pretty much what Rugby Forecast has gone here. 22 for Argentina just seems right. They should beat them, but I don't think they're going to demolish them, as Argentina will probably put the pedal back after that, as they need to conserve for bigger games coming up, as they have some monsters happening and they need to win those. So this is going to be a case of get the bonus and get out. Whether they... Yeah, that's pretty much my opinion of it. 22, I think, is a fair one also there. I think that's just a good number. It's normally about how much a bonus point win is happening in this World Cup, and also an average margin on this kind of like ranking difference in the teams. Next game up, Japan-Ireland. This is an interesting one. They have played in 2017 with Ireland taking both, one with a massive margin, the other one with a closer one, but still quite big with an 17-point margin. So it's... Japan, obviously, home ground is never something you can deny. On the other hand, Ireland had a resolute performance against Scotland. Wow. Really resolute. Their defence was outstanding. Japan, I don't think, if you look at the Russia game, didn't really have a knife-edge attack as they could have. Because in my opinion, a lot of their attacks were quality just because of the fact that they were actually able to tire out the Russians. So this is a tough one. Rugby Forecast has gone by 17, but I mean they beat Scotland by 24, and that's... Scotland, in my opinion, at the moment, are still a better side than Japan. I know a lot of people are saying Scotland are going to lose to Japan. Scotland could not cut that defence apart, even with some world-class players really running at it. So I'm going to go a little higher, and I'm going to go at 28 to Ireland. I don't think they're going to go much higher than that, as they're going to get as I've said in multiple games now, they're going to get the bonus point and get out. But 28 seems fair to me. The fact of the matter is that the Irish are not going to let them get many points, and they, unlike a lot of the other Northern Hemisphere, other like tier 1 sides, which let up Ireland just kept on hammering Scotland. It was kind of cruel. So I think they're going to be a similar thing, although to be fair, Japan will definitely try their luck, especially cutting around that quality defence. And if they do, credit to them, but I don't see it happening just yet. I'd love to see that happen, but I don't see it happening just yet. South Africa, Namibia. This is an interesting one. Last time they played 87-0. I don't think that's going to happen again. Not because South Africa are any worse than they were when they did that. That was in 2011. In my opinion, probably not the strong, like leading off to some of the strongest years in South African rugby. I think it's similar strength to the African side now. But Namibia actually had a strong game against Italy. They definitely had a couple of good cutting tries. A lot of these guys play against South Africans in South Africa. They know the style, and that is just something that can help a lot. Rugby Forecast has gone by 48. I think that's fair, but I don't see South Africa trying to run away with this. They might play what if they'll run away with it. If they do what they, I'll see, and I will change my pick if this happens in about halfway through the week. If it ends up that they pick like a B string, a couple of B string sides. Obviously, there's no such thing as a B string player in South African rugby, but not the expected starting lineup. If they pick your Nkosis and they pick some Warwick Gelant and they put Herschel Yankees and they put Jesse Creel in centre, that scoreline might balloon. Not because the players are any better, but because they're going to play themselves into the World Cup squad. That's a massive factor you have to take into all of this. If that happens, South Africa's, but I doubt it, and that's why I'm going to go conservative here. I'm going by South Africa by 30. I know it seems a little low considering the disparity between the two teams, but I've got a feeling South Africa's going to pick almost the exact same side they played against the All Blacks, as they're going to be going for continuity, fixing up some defensive mistakes, and it's going to be about clinical performance and making sure that the defense is strong. I'd be shocked even if they try and actually have it where they have more of a defensive game to just improve it, as there was a lot of defensive lapses in the All Blacks game that they need to work on. So I've got a feeling it's going to be get the points and then defend. So 30 even is high in that if they're going to go with that style. So it'll be interesting. But if they put some of the other, like the bench players and the rest of your 31-man squad on, yeah. Trevor Nyakane is also going home. That's very sad for South African rugby. What a performance from him in that game against England and All Blacks, and credit to him. I will be bringing out a news video of player injuries and news on all of the teams, so please look out for that. Cool. So next we've got the Georgia-Uruguay game. So again, yeah, Uruguay having a rather quick turnaround from the week games to weekend. It's going to be tough. Georgia just played, so I think it'll be a little bit more of a break. Not much more, but still more. And Georgia had some strong plays against Wales. I don't know. The problem is it's tough to not gauge because it was effectively 30 minutes of Georgia being cut in half, and then Georgia really coming back. So if Georgia can perform like they did in the second half, Uruguay are going to have a hard day. Rugby Forecast has gone by 12. These teams have never played before, so it's tough to predict that. But I'm going to go. I'm going to probably go Georgia even higher than that. I think Georgia had some really cutting attacks when they could. Some unfortunate moments that happened in that game. But yeah, I think that they can definitely cut this Uruguayan side together. This is obviously me saying I have not seen Uruguay play in a while, so take it with a pinch of salt. I'm going to go by 18. 18 I think is a fairer bet. The Georgians definitely will have a couple of strong cuts, and especially if they can get their scrum being strong against the Uruguayans, that'll probably be where it'll end up. Now we get to the hardest game by a long shot in this round. That's why I'm saying that this round is definitely much more about margins than it is about picking the winner. A lot of the winners are pretty predictable, barring some massive upsets. But this game is huge. This game is huge. I've seen both now play. Australia, average performance until about the 60th minute, and then they ran away with it, and it's still great scoreline. Both teams put up 40 on the board, and I think it was some glimmers from both sides. I think Australia were amazing when it was open play, and they really do have some sniping attacks. They counter-attack has been improving a lot, and Pocock as their leader has built that team hugely. Obviously the last result between these two teams is Wales winning 9-6, but 9 out of 10 of the last games Australia has won. So it is such a tough one. This is an immensely tough game to pick. Rugby Forecast has Australia by 1, bookies have Wales to win this. 2-1 for Australia to win, 1.7 for Wales to win. So, it's a tough one. I am going to go, just because of the clinicalness of the performance from the Welsh side, but I'm hoping that what I saw in the second half was players just resting, because if that's the case, then I think Wales will take it. If it was the case that was the performance, that they couldn't keep up the clinical performance they did against the Georgians in the first 30 minutes, then I think Australia will take it. But for now, I'm going to stick with Wales by about 4. I think 4 is a good number. I don't think it's going to be much higher than that either way. The reason I'm going by 4 is just in case Australia win by 1 point, you can still get a margin point. I know, thinking about things. Then you obviously, if you want to do that, you can obviously go lower. But yes, I think 4 is a good number Wales way. But yes, it will be interesting to see news from both sides in the week to see if anything that changes. But for right now, that's how I'm going about it. Then the last game, Scotland-Samoa. Scotland-Samoa, interesting. Obviously, Scotland have won both games against them, but relatively small margins in both. So I don't see it being much higher than that. Rugby forecast has it about 16. I think that's harsh, very harsh, but that's their opinion. I'm going to go with Scotland by about 7 or 8. Like 7-8 is a good number there. So Scotland were not convincing in the game against Ireland, although to be fair, that could be Ireland's fault. On the other hand, Samoa I haven't played yet, so I don't know. So I might change my pick depending on the performance from the Samoans. But I think Scotland will take it. It's just going to be a case of can they perform and can they get enough tries on the board, because they need to start producing some tries. They could not in the last game. So I'm going 7 or 8. I think that's a fair number. And the other thing you need to take into account when you're making your picks is the fact that Samoa are playing twice in a relatively short period of time, which always affects a team's performance, especially a Tier 2 nation, as they have a lot less depth to play with. But yeah, guys, that's my picks. That's where I think it's going to be in this game. Let me know if you have any opinions down below, any comments. Please share, please subscribe, please like. And yeah, tell me your picks down below. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me about it, and let's get into the conversation. Thanks, guys.